What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros afternoon live show. It's 3 p.m. December 9th, and we have got a whole lot to talk about today. The main story is XRP executives with some mysterious tweets telling XRP holders to lock in. What does that mean? I think it means XRP is expected to go on a nice little run. We're going to take a look at that story and look at the charts. Also, Chainlink with some big news and some signs showing that, Chainlink hasn't yet had that special run this bull market. We have some high expectations on what it can do over the next year, but are we seeing the beginning signs that Chainlink is going to live up to its full potential? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. Do not go anywhere. We're going to have a lot of charts going today. Q&A time at the end. T-Shroom's back. You don't want to miss out a single second of the show, so smash the like, hit subscribe, and we've got to roll the intro. Here we go. T-Shroom, we got to start off with how are you doing today? That's my first question. I have a second.
Tim, I'm doing better than I deserve. Just got back from the cruise. Man, it was a fantastic time. I cannot recommend highly enough the Utopia of the Seas. Yeah. And am I getting paid to say that? No, but I'd like to be. Royal Caribbean, hit us up. The Investing Bros, email in the bio.
We'll take a sponsorship with a cruise line. If it comes with what are you thinking? Do we ask for money or should it just be three trips a year for free? I'll take that deal.
I just want triple platinum status with the Royal Caribbean Anchor Club.
Yeah. What was the best? I mean, my second question was going to be, how was the cruise? What was the best part?
Oh, so they've got their own island now. Now, and this isn't a new part of the Royal Caribbean ecosystem, but they've had it for a while. But it's an island all to its own, owned by Royal Caribbean, and it's called Coco Cay Perfect Day or whatever. Okay. And it's awesome. You go there, it really is. It's an island specifically designed for cruisers. You get the beautiful sandy beaches, the water is clear, and the alcohol is flowing for those who are participating in that as well.
That's always fun. Always fun. Well, we're joined by another person today. T-Shroom is not pushing any buttons. Smay is behind the board right now, there with his Pittsburgh hat, his Pittsburgh jersey. Fresh off another Pittsburgh win. Smay, how are you doing today?
Oh, I deserve to be well, and I'm doing well, quite frankly. And so the Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson, rough start in that game against the Browns.
They always start.
But you know what? We came back and we got it, and we went into their trap and we took over their trap, and that's what it's all about here at the end of the day.
That's a good Atlanta Falcons reference right there. Good to have you on here, Smay. You have the Factoid at the end of the day. We might see your face between now and then, but if you think of anything you want to add to the show, let us know. Otherwise, let's get into it. Go into my screen. We got to look at these bubbles here, and it's a big day of red. I mean, a lot of you guys clicked on the video because you saw a pump incoming. Well, I wasn't talking about the next couple of seconds. A lot of red here today on the charts, with the exception of Move. Move is up 24.2%. In fact, this is a coin that this move must have, no pun intended, must have just put it into the top 100 because I've never seen this up here before. Technically, Floki is over here in the corner, secretly up 4.4%. But you got a lot of space. Notice how the bubbles are very equal sized on the bearish department. We're not seeing a lot of stretch here. You have a couple as much as 15%, a lot of them in that category of 8 to 9% downside. But what this to me signals, seeing a very fair and equal balance to the bubbles, is this is a complete crypto take profit day, right? So people just went across the board. They didn't just choose a couple. People just said, all right, time to take a little bit of profits while people figure some stuff out. Could it have to do with what's happening in Syria? Could it have to do with what's happening with NVIDIA? As a whole, I think you're just going to find a lot of these coins were overextended. People as a whole took some profits. But you know what? We're going to take a look at a lot of charts here today. Go ahead and chat, although it's going to be better if you wait till the end of the show. But in chat, you guys can start dropping some coins you guys want us to take a look at the chart of, and we will have time at the end of the show to do more charts. You guys reached out on Saturday. We had a great show on Saturday where you guys said that you love our show, but you want to see a couple more charts. We are here to do what you guys want to do. So your requests are being approved and more charts will be had. Let's start off with Bitcoin here, TA, and then we're going to keep on going. Bitcoin coming back down to some key levels of support right here. If you guys are watching, we've been trailing or kind of tracking a longer term, and I say longer term, this is still only the 4-hour chart. Going back to November 12th, we've been in a rising level of support with the exception of this one freakout wick that came down to 92. We've held that. In fact, no 4-hour candle has closed below that line. We'll notice right now we are wrestling with it as we speak. We're also wrestling with a former level of falling resistance. And then you start to add on to the pile. We got ourselves a bullish breaker block in play right here. So these are a lot of things we're watching that if we do fall, we're going to go a decent bit lower, but we're sitting on some nice support for Bitcoin at the moment. What I mean by we might fall, let's take a look at the liquidations here. The liquidations charts with some interesting levels on these lower time frames. But really what you're going to see, big pocket here at 95. That's not that significant, though. That's not a big deal. You really don't get boring when it comes to liquidations until all the way down here, actually all the way down towards $85,000. Remember, we've been kind of talking about there's no guarantee, but a move to 85 or 80,000 is still on the table. Historically, we get these pullbacks. I want to comment on that a little bit more here in a second, but just starting off with the charts, a lot of liquidations that if it starts to fall, just like a snowball effect, where you start with a small snowball and then you just roll and roll and roll and it picks up, you could get a bearish momentum coming here on Bitcoin that doesn't stop until 85,000 just from liquidating all of the longs. After that, you can see there's a pretty decent gap. And for this, I actually want to show you the daily charts version so we can consolidate some of these liquidation levels. Again, big pocket here at 85. But then after that, it kind of gets weak and doesn't pick back up until you get below $70,000, right? So my estimation, I don't think we're going below 85. I think if we end up falling here and lose some of these levels around 95 or so, more than likely we are headed for that $85,000 mark. But that's going to be some very strong support, as we were talking about with other indicators here. In that same category, let's go to the 4-hour chart again. We're going to have not only those smart trails, not only are we going to have all of this, let's go back to the daily. I guess I got to back this up and come back out to the 2 daily. There's where we want to go. We have the 2 daily smart trail in play here. Let's turn off liquidations for just a second. And this is one that historically during this level of the bull market, we have come back down to retest the 2 daily smart trail. Just like we did back in 2021. So anyone who's wondering what's happening with the charts, I talked pretty heavily about this on Saturday's live show. If you missed it, it's still a good watch, still a good listen. Go back and watch it. But in a nutshell, on the Bitcoin front, I told you guys there's still a very distinct chance that altcoin season rather, is still going to see a bigger fallback for Bitcoin. Speaking of that, let's take a look real quickly at the Bitcoin dominance chart and check in what's happening. A small boost here today, but as a whole, you can see we're going to have a pretty significant bump in price. We'd have to get back up probably towards 58% before I would start to wonder, are we about to actually start rallying? Because while we technically haven't set a lower low, I think we got to get below 54%, set a lower low. This recent all-out collapse, we have not seen that type of a fall in the Bitcoin dominance this entire bull market, right? The last time we saw something that steep, that big of a fall was true alt season way back in 2021, right? So I'm still in camp altcoin season. I'm still in camp that I think that alts will outpace Bitcoin. And part of that is probably Bitcoin having to fall back a little bit. If you go back to the Bitcoin chart, probably Bitcoin having to fall back towards 85 while altcoins start to rally. And a lot of you guys clicked on this video because you saw XRP big pump coming, or I think I see huge XRP pump coming. There's a reason why, and we're going to get into that for a second. But go off my screen because there was a question asked in chat earlier today, and I want to answer it for all of you. And the question that was asked was, if Bitcoin ETFs are one of the biggest drivers right now of Bitcoin price action, and with the exception of the Ethereum ETF, there's no other way for people to switch their money over, does that cancel alt season? What that means is historically, during alt season, it's a period where Bitcoin's overextended compared to altcoins, and people start to take their profits from Bitcoin and move them into altcoins. That's why Bitcoin dominance falls. That's why altcoins rally as Bitcoin comes down. Does this mean with ETFs, because ETF holders are not going to take profits in Bitcoin and switch to altcoins, does that mean no more altcoin season? That's not necessarily the case, right? Altcoin season doesn't mean Bitcoin has to drop in altcoins after rally. Altcoin season just means altcoins start outpacing Bitcoin. And with that Bitcoin dominance chart showing us a steep trajectory to the downside, that's what we need to know altcoin season. But the reason why I'm predicting Bitcoin falling back only 15 to 20% and not the historical 30% is because of those ETFs. Where the ETFs come in is they're going to drive and keep Bitcoin's price from falling too far. They're going to keep the price really, really high. The difference is that retail is still going to take profit on Bitcoin and move over. I think even though I'm hopeful and I'm looking forward to a potential where Bitcoin could surpass 200, start heading towards 300. I mean, last week we talked about historical factors that could send Bitcoin to $550,000. Does that mean I think that's what's going to happen by next year? Not necessarily. I think it's realistic to look at the $200,000, $220,000 range. But that being said, you got to think about this as we're right beneath $100,000. If I'm just a normal retail investor, I'm not talking about someone with $1 billion who doubling their money is amazing. I'm talking about people like you and me who are looking at our portfolio and saying, if I stay heavily in Bitcoin, let's say at $100,000, let's say I owned one Bitcoin. Well, I will turn $100,000 into $200,000. I will double the money. But if I were to go into something like Chainlink, that still has probably more than a 10x left in it, if I went into something like Solana or Ethereum or XRP even, that still have like 5x's in them, there's ways to create more wealth in the altcoin space. Bitcoin hitting 100,000 is diminishing the amount of returns that can happen during this bull market. So again, while institutions and ETFs might be saying, I'm going to hold on to my Bitcoin long term, retail people like you and me are looking at their options and saying, I'm very glad Bitcoin's at 100K. I've been waiting for 100K for a very long time, but I'll make more money transitioning into other altcoins. I want to make sure you guys understand that doesn't mean sell all your Bitcoin. I still hold a small bag of Bitcoin, but I have taken some profits from Bitcoin. I've moved them into some of my alts that I think have greater potential. And already, again, watching that Bitcoin dominance fall, it is proven to be a profitable standard. But that is what alt season is. Just because ETFs are here does not mean alt season is canceled. It doesn't mean that we won't fall. I told you guys on Saturday, I think that the Bitcoin floor for dominance probably is going to be somewhere between 50 and 45%, unlike historically where we've seen 40 to 35%. I think that floor comes up. But alt season still comes because as much institutional adoption as there is, there's still a lot of retail adoption, and there's still a lot of retail people coming. They haven't yet bought crypto. So that's kind of my thought right now. It's very much looking like Bitcoin, a downward movement is still on the table. For more on that, though, before we leave the Bitcoin topic and get into some of these altcoins like XRP, like Chainlink, I want to throw it over to T. Shroom. Was there any stories we had today that people need to know about Bitcoin before we transition?
There absolutely is, and let's go ahead and jump into them now, Tim. There's some bullish stories here, starting with a tweet from Bitcoin Archive saying, breaking, Amazon shareholders request the company explores and adds Bitcoin to its treasury. So first it was Microsoft, now it's Amazon. Apple is next, says Bitcoin Archive, then every single boardroom. But right now we're just focusing on Amazon. Shareholders request that the board conduct an assessment to determine if adding Bitcoin to the company's treasury is in the best long-term interest of shareholders. So this one is pretty darn bullish, Tim. It's not hard to kind of see, what could happen here if the dominoes start falling up at the corporate America level, bringing on Bitcoin to those treasuries. So
100%.
Very, very bullish. Moving on to the next one, the company that's been front-running this entire phenomenon, and that is MicroStrategies. And they have bought 21,550 Bitcoin worth $2.1 billion. This is the source is Bloomberg. And now they hold 423,659 Bitcoin. Who's they? MicroStrategies. And that Bitcoin is worth just under 42 billion. And their average entry is 60,324. So that average entry inching up. And every time it inches up, it adds to the risk of if Bitcoin does come back down below that, they could potentially have some things break. But as of right now, all indications are bullish, and MicroStrategies could potentially be one of the most valuable companies over the next 2 decades. So Very
Yeah.
bullish for MicroStrategies. If you've been hodling the stock, if you've been hodling some of the leverage ETFs around MSTR MicroStrategies, you're doing pretty good. Maybe not so great today because we're seeing a pullback, but you're doing pretty well.
I mean, and just we'll wrap this section up with a pretty bow and get into XRP topics here. This ultimately, the moral of the story, why is this such a good story, is because it means institutions are still buying in bulk. I mean, we already knew MicroStrategy was going to buy in bulk, but if Amazon starts to buy Bitcoin, because that's what shareholders are asking for, a lot of money over there in Amazon. Cannot wait to see it. It's a matter of when at this point, not if. It's a matter of when. So very bullish long term on Bitcoin still, and of course still bullish on the rest of the altcoin space. Well, let's transition now, T-shirt. I think we've given Bitcoin some good attention here this afternoon. Let's transition into the top story of the day. Ripple CTO and executives leaving some mysterious tweets, making the XRP army bullish. If you're an XRP maxi, type maxi into chat right now. I don't believe in maxis, meaning I don't think that you should be one, but I welcome the maxis. You're welcome to be on this channel with open arms. Just, consider buying some other coins as well. But if you're a maxi, type maxi. If you own a big bag of XRP, put a 1 in chat. I'm very bullish here on this coin. T-Shroom, let's cover that story real quick, and then let's get into the charts and see what XRP looks like for the future.
Absolutely. Well, it's less about what was said and more about who said it, and Tim said it already, but improving global settlement with the blockchain tech. This is the CTO at Ripple, David Schwartz, and he said this, lock in, which leaves quite a vacuum of what that could mean, other than it's more than likely something that we can anticipate to be bullish here pretty soon for XRP. And this comes after none other than Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, was actually on 60 Minutes. And there's a lot going on in that clip. We're not going to cover everything about that, but this is a moment where XRP has an opportunity to capitalize on the momentum that it's built off of this undeniable spike in the price per coin, but also just everybody's talking about them. There's a frenzy in the XRP community, a feeling that they're finally getting what they've waited for so long, and that is the price to go up. And so, it's exciting. Tim, are you locked in with XRP?
Listen, I'm getting there. I'm getting locked in. I'm not selling. I haven't sold any of my XRP bag, but I'm excited about its future. Let's go to my chart. Let's talk about it. I'm going to do some repeat TA and then some future stuff. XRP, it's no secret XRP has been explosive since early November, right? This coin has taken off. I'm sure you'll find a market cap coin that has like a $50 million market cap, and now it has like a 100 million or something that's done better or something. But if you looked at top 100 coins, nothing is performing as well as XRP. I mean, heck, this coin, it went from being, I think it was down here at like number 8 back in November. It's now the number 4. It actually just got passed by well, it's not passed by Tether. Why is that registering like that? All right, there we go. Glitch on CoinMarketCap because, it's still a glitch because $144 billion market cap for XRP, $137 billion for Tether. I don't know why it puts that above. Glitch. It went to number 3, right? It surpassed a lot of cryptos to be very, very high up there. 144 billion is no small feat. This coin is explosive. And the question that everyone has is, well, doesn't XRP have to have some major correction? I mean, you do see double bearish divergence in play here on the daily chart. What that means is that if you looked at our oscillators, while we've been setting these higher highs, we've slightly been setting lower highs on our oscillator. We also see the daily chart's MACD is about to cross bearish, and we've been overextended for so long, we possibly go to the downside. We'll take a look at some downward movements. I think there's a decent chance, just like Bitcoin, that XRP could cool off over the next couple of days. But the bigger question that people really should be asking is by looking at a chart like this, looking at the weekly chart. Again, we started this week out somewhat blue, somewhat bearish, not a big deal because it's got a long week ahead of us. But let's look historically at what happened. And I told you guys last week, I am not comparing XRP in this move to what happened in 2021, a lot like I am with Bitcoin or with Cardano or with other coins, right? XRP, to compare it to 2021 would be unfair because 2021 was massively suppressed. I'm comparing XRP and the movements it could make to what it did back in 2017, in which case, if you look here on the weekly chart, you see Guess what? A long-term symmetrical triangle, an explosive move out, a small hesitation, a bigger move, longer time frame, meaning a couple of months long, just kind of consolidation into a symmetrical triangle. Then you make one more great pump and you find yourself a beautiful top up here at $3.37, right? This is the type of move that I'm looking at. What do we have going on here? Long-term symmetrical triangle pattern, explosive pump out. I believe that XRP is somewhere right around here. Where's my arrow? There we go. I believe we're in this range. Are we at the top? Is it time to have this bigger correction? In which case, just so you guys know, I'm not predicting we're going to have the same size, but XRP had a nice 63% correction. Don't think I'm going to get a 63% correction, but a sizable correction could happen before another explosive move happening again. I believe we're sitting in this camp right here. We're somewhere in this range, whether we're done topping on this first range or whether we're starting to pull back or we keep going up, we're right around here. And that means we've got a lot of room to the upside. We just released an XRP updated price prediction video last week. Go check it out. You're not going to regret it. It's got some great details, great numbers in there. But let's go back over here. That's kind of the overview look for XRP. And what T-Shroom talked about just a second ago, we got executives making major moves. I mean, the CEO is on 60 Minutes, massive attention. You got the CTO tweeting out locked in. You have big community members typing in locked in. Do they know something we don't know? Right? Was it just about the 60-minute conversation, or did they just strike a major deal that has not become public yet? We're going to have to wait and see. Right? And for that reason, I am not in sell XRP mode. I want to make sure that's very clear. I am not in sell XRP mode. Are we overextended? Yes, we're overextended. The weekly chart showing 100% overbought. It's starting to show us a little bit of signs of being overextended, but as I said before, we lived in overextended category back in 2017. We just lived up there during the whole bull market. The daily chart is the little more concerning here, right? Where you did have major bearish divergence. Again, higher highs in price action, but lower highs in oscillators. The MACD is about to cross bearish for the first time. When was the last time the MACD had a bearish cross? It's been so bullish here recently, it's hard to know. I'm not going to count any of this back and forth. I'm really going to go back all the way back here to July of 2024. Let's look at what price action looked like back in July. This was a pretty decent size correction for XRP. In fact, it was a correction of, let's check out the exact numbers. We'll include the wick, just to be fair. A nice correction of 33%. What does that mean? That means to me, I think a realistic pullback based off of what it's done earlier this bull market is at most 33% pullback for XRP. What would that put price at if it were to happen? We're looking down here at about $1.90. So remember that. Let's put a little line right there and see if we find some confluence as we go through the other end. Oh, gosh, Tim, what? You just deleted the same line you made. There we go. Line up there. Let's get rid of this. That's our starting mode right there, right? So if we're talking about a pullback here in XRP, that's our starting mode. 33% pullback, normal for this bull market. Let's take a look at what indicators are saying. We already looked at the oscillators. The oscillators are saying we're selling off. We've hit our daily take profits. It's time to cool off right there. Not printing any sell signals necessarily just yet, but we are looking like we're moving to the downside. In this camp, we're going to have, look at this, the daily smart trail coming in right here. Let me turn off these fair value gaps. Daily smart trail coming in right in this camp. Again, when you get these sell signals like we have over here, this MACD going down, the Luxago oscillator with bearish reversal, bearish momentum, and negative money flow. I told you guys last week, 90% of the time, this comes back to the smart trail. I want to clarify, 90% of the time in a sideways market, it does this. In a bull market, I'm going to probably pull it down more like 60 to 70%. That being said, as we add up a lot of confluence here, I'm going to put this as a decent chance that XRP wants to correct down to 191. I'm not saying it's definitely going to, and I'm not saying I'm selling my XRP to get that. What I'm going to do is, with a little bit of dry powder that I keep building up week after week after week, guess what, guys? I have this thing called a budget where I have a paycheck, I get money, and a certain percentage of my paycheck goes to what I call my dry powder bag. And I deploy when I see coins at favorable spots. This case, I'm looking at XRP at $1.91 as a juicy entry. But that's not it. Let's take a look at some other things that could potentially give us targets to keep an eye on. Again, We're looking here. We have fair value gaps. We have smart trails in this area. What else would we have if we go into and look at liquidations? This one's going to take us a little lower. And I'm going to look at lower time frames to see if there's anything significant here. But when you look at liquidations, 173, the bottom side of this smart trail is going to be an interesting zone, right? So even like this right now, this red line, we really could turn this more into a zone of interest between 173 and 191 for XRP if we have some form of a sell-off and a pullback. But you do not want to ignore these liquidations. If you're sitting here asking, Tim, what do you mean these liquidations? How did you get liquidations on the trading view? Guess what? This is the new indicators that we have that we created with Luxago. Luxago is the #1 trading indicator out there. I suggest you guys go get Luxago. If you do, you get to be a part of our VIP trading group. But these indicators are our own. We built them with Luxago, but only bros, if you're in the bros community, only bros that watch the channel get to see these indicators. You can go get them right now, link down below. And for all of our members, if you are one of our VIP trading members, there's a link and there's a discount you can get in the VIP trading group to get 50% off. I'm not going to talk about it here because that's not for everybody. But go buy that right now. If you like these liquidations, if you want to have them right on your trading view and not have to go look at another website, you're only going to find these looking at the Investing Bros personalized indicator. So back to what I'm saying, confluence here, 173, 190, this range is going to be very, very interesting. I want to take a look at the 4-hour chart and see if there's anything kind of picking up from liquidation sides in this range. Not really. Not really at all, which is a little surprising me. I was definitely expecting some to come in there, but you do see the 4-hour green support level coming in. That's very interesting right there. That's going to be a nice level of support. So I'm kind of backing up. There's more further reason that this camp right here between 173 and 190 is very, very interesting. Let's look at another one of the bros indicators. We're taking a look at the ultimate package or the toolkit where we do see gaps in our fixed range volume down here at 197 range. That's going to be some significant support as well. Also, big reason why a big move could be coming for XRP very soon. I didn't talk about this on Bitcoin, but it's the same way. 4-hour Bollinger Bands. Let's turn off the other indicators so you can see them. Part of this tool, we include the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands are constricted. We're waiting for a big move. This recent rally and pullback was simply testing the range of how high is our resistance, how low is our support, where do we need to see a big breakout coming. XRP getting very close to testing these lower bands. We could bounce back up and come back up and stay constricted all the way back to 263. But keep an eye on a big move coming for XRP. And with these larger term signs that were overextended, I lean towards a pullback back into this camp, again, around 190 to 173. But after that, things could get very, very explosive for XRP. I still believe even with this pullback here, again, if we mimicked the moves we made back in 2017, again, you have this little pullback, you have this thing that comes down, and then explosion happens again. I still believe by March or April of 2025, $5.22 is one of the numbers in my price prediction video. I still think we could see $5 by March of 2025. So let's go off this. That's the explosion coming. Look for something to pop on XRP. Again, that interview with Garlinghouse, very big. But I have this sneaky suspicion, Shroom, that what David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, is alluding to is something else. If something pops, like I just look at the charts and tell you what the charts are saying. If something comes out crazy bullish on XRP, things will change, right? I love charts. I think that when you don't have breaking brand new collaborations and news, you default to the charts. But news always has a way of swaying and changing things up. So if no news changes, I'm predicting 190 to 173 is probably coming back to XRP holders. But if something pops for the next couple of days, if David Schwartz knows something we don't know, we could decide right now to go ahead and shoot to the upside and shoot towards $5. Sherman, what are your thoughts before we transition here?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a lot of information. I think ultimately, you do have to realize that the market has the same amount of information as when XRP was a lot lower, 50% lower. Like there's not any kind of new information other than the speculation around Brad Garlinghouse, potentially being a temporary or permanent part of the Trump crypto team. But I would say that the clock is kind of ticking on a expanded team being announced, because we did get over the weekend, David Sachs was announced as the crypto and AI, czar, whatever that means. I'm sure it'll be I'm sure it'll mean something, but right now it's very opaque. There's a lot of names that are not on that list, right? That could have been the czar. David Sachs, I really like. I listen to his podcast, the All In podcast. He has really, really good takes. He also has a vast network within the VC community. So that's something to realize is he's coming from the VC world. I think more now than ever, it's important to pay attention to what are the coins that VCs and Wall Street are investing in. XRP seems to be on that list. I wouldn't say it's the most prominent name on the list, but it is. And so, I think that XRP from here, it is a tinderbox to go higher, right? But to me, the market hasn't gotten any new information. We've just gotten kind of vapors, right? But, the price has gone up. So people are liking it. People are liking the vapors.
Yeah, I mean, very, very.
Am I wrong? So. I mean, is there anything that's more tangible that XRP has announced?
If you're enjoying the vapors, type vapors into chat right now. And I'll tell you this is another challenge. Spell it wrong. I'm interested what the wrong spellings could look like for vapors. We're going to transition here. We're going to talk Chainlink in just a second. If you love Chainlink, smash the like. We got almost 1,200 people on YouTube, another 230 over on X, and only 263 likes. So got to get those likes up. But we had a question here in chat from Hina Katoon. I think I pronounced that right, actually. I think I crushed that. Tim, please make a detailed video for all indicators for beginners, please. It's sometimes confusing. I'm a newbie. Well, Hina, love that you're here. Love that you're here. If I were to make one video showing you all of the indicators in technical analysis, that would probably take me a week and a half straight, no breaks whatsoever. That being said, we have a membership option for our traders. It's either the ultimate level of our Discord memberships, or if you purchase Lux Algo Press, I think the Algo or the Bros Plus, or what's it called, Pro Bros. You have the Algo Bros Plus membership. You can go into our Discord, ask these questions. But right now, just so you know, we are going through, like a college course, we are going through everything that you need to know about the basics of technical analysis and trading to get you set up. In our VIP trading group, I have tutorials on how to use Luxalgo. With these bros indicators being newer, I'm going to probably sit down Wednesday morning and shoot a video that I'll give to our VIP traders on how to use these indicators. In fact, that one I might make a private video like share with all of our even free Discord members just so you guys can know how to use it. They're not necessarily crazy complicated, but I'll teach you how to use it. But HIPAA, I would, if you're serious about investing and serious about trading, we tell this to people all the time. Investing in coins is great, but investing in your education is the number one thing you should be doing. I would absolutely advise joining our VIP trading group, joining the Ultimate members, and being a part of those trading courses. And then on top of that, you get to be a part of an amazing community where it's not just me and T-Shroom, but there's a lot of other people spread out across. Some of them are brand new. Some of them have been around for a year. Some of them have been trading for like 10 years who are also there just willing to lend a hand and help a brand new trader out and get on their feet. So if you're serious about it, heavily suggest joining that VIP trading group. All those links are in the description down below. Let's transition here to Chainlink, T-Shroom. Now, Link is a community favorite here. Got a lot of Link Marines. Do we still call them Link Marines? I know you guys Link Marines out there. A lot of those in our community. And people have been asking for a while. Now, Link started to pump more recently, but people have been asking, when is Link going to become special? I mean, I'm very bullish on it. This is a coin that I believe is going to have one of the biggest gains in the bull market of top 50 coins. But so far, I will even be the first to say it hasn't lived up to the potential that I think is possible of doing. But we're seeing more and more every a week. We're seeing more news, more adoption, more reasons that it's waking up. What do we have this week, T-Shirt, when it comes to Chainlink?
Yeah, Tim, I've got two main data points here. The first is that Chainlink is eyeing a breakout in price with 142% address count increase. So that means a lot more people are going out and making new wallets to buy Chainlink. Now, could that be illusory data? Could there be a bot that's going out and making a bunch of new addresses, new wallets to buy Chainlink to spoof the numbers? It's possible, right? So be aware of any manipulation everywhere. But I think that there's got to be some organic growth here with Chainlink addresses. So this is very bullish. Data point one. Data point two is from Santiment. Said, here are crypto's top ERC20 coins by development activity. Directional indicators represent each project's ranking positioning since last month. Chainlink holds the top crypto project that is booking sick development activity. That is Chainlink, followed by, let's just go through the rest of these, SUSD, Synthetics, SNX, ETH itself, SNT, Mana, HOT, INJ, REQ, GRT. Let me know, are any of those some that you hold? Chainlink is one that we're very bullish on, and I am going to be honest with you. We've checked out this. We looked at this much more, these lists much more in the bear market. I don't think I've ever seen Chainlink on this list. Now it's leading number one.
Yeah.
And that is going to get attention by a lot of investors. That's for sure.
Well, that 142% increased active addresses, that correlates to, it's not just that people are buying, it's people have never bought before are buying now. So Chainlink waking up here. Let's go look at the chart and take a look at what's happening here. Again, big explosive move. We've hit recent highs, not for the total price action, because of course that would go back to May of 2021 when we got to $52, but new cycle highs, right? That was a big move for any crypto to set new cycle highs. Is a very bullish move here. The question is, as we're pulling back, I saw someone in chat earlier say that Chainlink is melting to the downside. I was like, well, it's down. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's not down. It's down almost 12% today, but it also has had a nice run over the last couple of weeks. Let's get into the details of the indicators and see what this chart is looking like. I see that super chat from Joshua saying, are you still bullish on AVAX? Very much so. We might take a look at AVAX later on. But we're going to see a similar kind of thought here on Chainlink. In fact, it's probably safe to say most coins are in this camp where you're going to see some bearishness. Let's work from the bottom and go up. RSI, 100% overbought, got overextended. There was bullish. There's bearish divergence. Higher high in price action, but lower high in oscillator. So that's bearish. We got a bearish cross. Looks like it's coming in for the first time since, let's go back here to October of 2024. What did price look like back there in that action last time you got a bearish cross? I think I said October 1st. You got yourself a nice little pullback here. Not crazy, nothing special. But it had a nice little correction of roughly 20%. More than halfway there if we do end up repeating all of that. But even worse, this is where it gets confirming that we need to cool off here a little bit. Red reversal, bearish divergence, bearish momentum, and bearish money flow. These are all reasons why we should, at the very least, cool off back here towards our smart trail on the daily chart, back at around $20. All right, so that's something to keep an eye on, that $20 to $19 zone. Let's just go ahead and put a little bar right in there. Let's put a little graph. This is where Chainlink could be pulling back to before it wants to regroup. Conveniently, this level right in here is going to be back to a major sell-off we had in May of 2024. It's not returning back to these highs, right, which is kind of where we're currently trading back the highs of March. But we are trading back to the May highs, and that could be something that's very interesting to keep an eye on. Let's look at other indicators here. Let's kind of add to the pile in the same range. We have ourselves a nice fair value gap, a bullish breaker block, major support. It's kind of mixed between the bulls and the bears, but that's going to add to our zone right in here around just below $20. Could be a major area to keep an eye on. Last thing I want to take a look at here, liquidations. And the daily chart showing us there's really not a whole lot happening until all the way down here. So let's go to look at lower time frames and see if we can find anything else more helpful when it comes to liquidations. Loading. There we go. All right. Not a whole heck of a lot. I mean, there's going to be some piling up. Oh, there is some right in here, it says. But it's not showing very clearly. There's some that kind of come down here even towards 18. But as a whole, you're going to see there's not a whole lot of bright liquidations at this point. I don't think that Link is in a very vulnerable spot where traders are chasing liquidation levels. Very minimal liquidation levels at the moment. So this chart is one that I don't think liquidation is going to be the heaviest, biggest helper as a whole. Bollinger Bands here. We're overextended on the daily and weekly. We want to cool off here. Don't be surprised if you see a small bounce as we're starting to get overextended on lower time frames, but we're stretching out the Bollinger Bands to the downside. And if you don't know about Bollinger Bands, when they're constricted, are leading towards a big move coming. Just like back here in December where we got very, very tight and then had a big explosion to the upside. Same thing back here in December of 24. Well, actually, the 4-hour chart, both these December 1st and December 6th. But there's definitely signs in the past where these Bollinger Bands have constricted and then led to major sell-offs like back here If you were to go all the way back to September, a 4-hour chart, big move to the downside after being overextended. So keep an eye on that for sure. Chainlink looks like it does want to cool off once again. Am I saying that you should sell your Chainlink bag and buy back in at $20? No, I am not. What I'm saying is, with some dry powder, keep an eye on this area. If you want to trade, if you guys want to take a look at some trading opportunities, yeah, maybe you want to look at a potential short to these levels. But trade responsibly. Absolutely, again, advise you guys joining our trading group where you can see the proper ways of trading these coins with proper risk management. That's one of the biggest things that I see is people can do TA, but just because you know TA does not make you a good trader. What makes you a good trader is understanding proper risk management, understanding where to put your stop losses, understanding where to put your take profits, understanding when to be aggressive with leverage, when to be lax, when to just do spot trading. All of these things you'll learn in our VIP trading group, so make sure you check that out. But very bullish on Chainlink still long term. This is a coin that I still believe long term. We got some big goals. I think we could see a small pullback, and then again, March. Well, I think March will go way past all-time highs. I think this is still, even with a pullback here, we can make a pullback quickly down to $19, $20, still end up finishing the year somewhere in the world of $40 to $50. I think this is one we could, by March, be in the world of closer towards $100 on Chainlink, especially if these bullish stories continue to pile up. But let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts about Chainlink? Are you still bullish? Are you still excited about it? Or are you thinking that you need to take your profits and run for the hills? I wouldn't, but that's up to you. You can go off my screen here, Smay. That's going to wrap up our prepared TA, our prepared notes, which is awesome. We're now going to start trying to spend a lot more times, definitely at least Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're going to start doing technical Tuesdays and technical Thursdays, meaning heavy charts, minimal news. You guys said you guys wanted a lot more charts. If there's any major breaking stories, we always will talk about them, because at the end of the day, like I said earlier with XRP, you want to be aware of the charts, but sometimes these news stories break that change everything. Charts communicate trader sentiment and psychology, but stories can change that. Black swan events can happen. What do we call a really good story? Like, is that a golden swan? I don't know. Is there a technical name for like a really good story that comes out of the blue that people weren't prepared for?
I mean, white swan, I think I've heard thrown around there.
It's just a normal swan. I feel like we should go golden swan. No?
But usually the thing about positive news is it's usually you don't get there without any effort. Usually there's been a lot of human work put into it, like the Donald Trump, election. There was a lot of work, a lot of anticipation. The date was known, the time was known. Only the outcome wasn't known 100% certainty. But with black swans, it's I guess the way to think about it is it's easier for chaos to bring things down than it is for chaos to create order. It doesn't really make any sense. So,
executive decision right now, T-shirt. Clark Bent. We're gonna credit him with this. You guys remember this day for the rest of your existence, because on the Bros channel, from here on out, the official name we are going with, the opposite of a black swan, is a golden platypus. All right, so I don't know if that's said anywhere else, but thank you and shout out to Clark Bent, because the Bros from here on out, when a good story happens out of nowhere that we were not expecting, and price goes berserk, we are now referring to that as a golden platypus. Write that down. Don't let us forget. Let's get into chat here, guys. Let's get some Q&A. You guys can ask about coins we've already talked about. You can ask about sentiment. You can ask about stories we didn't talk about today. That's going to be something like we're still going to be aware of all the big stories, right? So if we don't ever cover a story in the news, doesn't mean we don't know about it. It means we really want to prioritize the charts and big price movement details for you guys. But if you have questions about any stories that have happened, you can give that. Also, charts that you want to take a look at. T-shirt, I'm going to let you choose. I'm going to sit back here. You're going to tell me what questions we are answering, what charts we're looking at. What are you looking at? What do you see in the chat there that you like?
What I'm seeing in the chat that I haven't seen for a while is Tezos.
Tezos? Okay.
Now, it's the same person asking about it, but, maybe there's some folks out there who are curious about it. I believe it is still a top 100 coin, if not much higher than that. Do you even know the ticker? What's cool is, so go to my screen here, Smay. If you don't know the ticker in TradingView, just go to the crypto graph when you type in the name up here, right? So name,
make sure you click on crypto and then just type the name of the crypto and it'll give you the suggestion. So it turns out the ticker is XTZ. I would have never guessed that, right? So that is the coin here. Because there's gonna be a lot of questions here, I'm gonna focus on some major time frames, maybe look at the daily chart, but we're gonna almost call this like 2-minute technicals with Tim. So let's take a look here. Let's look at what we have going on. Oscillators, are we overextended on the weekly chart? Yes, we are, but we still have a lot of positivity going on there. We have not hit our take profit on a recent buy signal. So I'm not necessarily shorting Tezos on the weekly chart. I think Tezos wants to bump itself up here again above $3. But let's take a look at the daily chart really quickly, where we do have a sell signal coming in, and all of the bearishness, we have the bearish divergence, we have the sell signal coming in from Luxago with the bearish reversal, bearish momentum, bearish divergence, a lot of bearishness. Negative money flow here as well, negative MACD cross as well. I think that at least a move down here towards a smart trail is in order here for Tezos. We're looking at the zone right in here around, high end 140, low end 130. That's going to be a zone to keep an eye on. We're not that far away from it right now as we're at 150, just below. What about liquidation levels where there's not going to be a whole lot? I have to go to really low level. See any liquidity down here. Yeah, I mean, there's a pocket even lower towards 120, but it's just not a lot of reliability. Most of it's where we currently are and above us. So not seeing a lot of liquidations to add to the table there. Last thing, we'll take a look at daily chart, order blocks. Yeah, there's fair value gaps right in this camp here as well. So I like this box. I like this Tezos edition, somewhere between 130 and 140. So good chat, good chart.
Yeah, I've got the 1 week pulled up for Tezos as well. If you want to jump over to my chart, you can see here that there's been a huge amount of volume in the last 3 weeks. So that's generally bullish, right? What that tells me is we're probably going to see a higher low for Tezos coming in. But the weekly oscillators are not telling me the most bullish story that I could paint here. I am seeing a positive money flow coming in there, or moving in the right direction towards being positive. I am seeing a potential for a reversal here, although I have not got a reversal dot on the weekly yet. Do have some reversal candy up here on the top. But generally, I would read this as probably losing room to run, losing its momentum to the upside. And then the other thing too that worries me a little bit is you are seeing the MACD line starting to curl or alter their trajectory slightly lower. So still pretty wide on the MACD to signal line, meaning it's, we could see it move higher before it goes lower. But I do believe when you look at the price, we are seeing that move lower potentially starting. And Tim did the lower time frame daily and 4 hour, kind of showing that along with the rest of crypto is starting to lose pace.
Yeah. Yep. Well, let's go in the next one. And by the way, 1,300 people watching. Love it. Love the views. 399 likes, right? So we should have minimum, right? Half is realistic, right? So we should have like 650. But I feel like, well, half is realistic. We should really have half. We should have 650 likes. Smash the like button, everybody. I see people saying, I'm going to let you choose. I'm going to send 3 to you. T-shirt, you're the brain. You're okay. AVAX. I was gonna say AVAX, Jasmine, or Ondo. AVAX. All right, let's do AVAX. Yeah, there was a super chat earlier about AVAX as well, so that's a good one to take a look at. All right, so let's go in here and start off. This hit a level that we predicted it would hit. Again, anyone who was watching a couple weeks ago, we talked about this bull pennant breaking out, and guess what? We predicted we would get up here in the range of just about 54.50, give or take. Got wicked right above there, went to 55.60, and now we're pulling back, right? Big pullbacks coming with much of the space. I can just go ahead and tell you, based off what we're looking at right here, we're going to see a sell signal on the daily chart. You know what? I said that, and then I don't know if we are. The money flow is not negative yet. We had the reversal. We had the bearish momentum. But the money flow is just so positive, it hasn't had time to curl over. I wonder if we went to like a smaller time. Let's see if the 12-hour. Yeah. 12-hour has the bearish sell signal. Red reversal, bearish momentum, bearish money flow, right? The 12-hour alone, we're hitting the levels of the 12-hour. Okay. Yeah, we're hitting the smart trail. We're very close to take profit. So AVAX kind of cleaning up a lot of what it needs to. I'm going to keep there on the daily chart, though, and say, hey, the daily chart, interesting zone to keep an eye on. While the take profit's a little lower, I'm a big fan of these smart trails. I wonder if the 2-day is going to be right in that zone. Like if we sketch this, yeah, You know what? I would not be surprised at all to see it more be the 2-day smart trail here. You're starting to see the signs. In fact, actually, the 2-day, this is really strange. We're getting a sellout signal on the 2-day, not the daily. Red reversal, bearish momentum, negative money flow. Not excessively negative, but it's negative. So I'm gonna go ahead and put us down in the camp of the 2-daily, right? The 2-daily smart trail. That's going to kind of correlate with the take profit off the daily sell signal that's kind of flashing right now. Yeah. Order block right in play here as well. Yeah, a lot of reasons for just south of $40 in AVAX for it to be some major support. Liquidations. You do have some interesting liquidations lower towards 35. Let's go to a lower time frame, though, and kind of see if we got anything cleaner here. Yeah, there we go. A lot of liquidations kind of trickling here, but guess where they kind of slow down. You know, you do have some at 32 as well, but got a decent amount right here in this blue box, 38, 37. So I'm gonna keep this level 40 to 37, 37 to $40. I think is where AVAX wants to kind of pull back to right now, as we're seeing these overextended levels. Again, I want to reiterate this for everybody. Am I telling you to go take your 1,000 AVAX? I'm just going to pretend you're all AVAX bulls right now, right? Am I going to tell you to go take your 1,000 AVAX and sell all of it and buy back in at $40? And that's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. This is a bull market where crazy things can happen. What I'm saying is, if you like AVAX and you want to add to that 100 AVAX that you have or 1,000 AVAX you have, I don't remember how much I said, I would do so south of $40. That's where I'm looking right now for price action on AVAX.
Yeah, over on the weekly chart, I've got it pulled up here. You guys can see. I have a bit of confluence with those prices that you were shouting out there because they got a breaker block here on the one, and this is a bullish block because the bears were exhausted here. And this one goes from 41 down to 35, right in line with what you were saying there, Tim. So you expect support starting around 42, you call it, and then 35. If we get lower than 35, you know, I think that there may be some different questions to ask about AVAX. Yeah. But the oscillators look much more bullish than Tezos on the weekly. So you can see there's not a reversal in sight here. And we're just now exceeding the levels on the hyperwave that we got back in March 18th of 2024, when we have not even come close to the December 2023 levels when the hyperwave got up to like 96.5. So I think AVAX looks like the better buy between this and Tezos. You also have the money flow moving in the right direction. But you do still have that altered trajectory here from the MACD line signaling a potential slowdown. We saw that as well over on Tezos. So just some insights there on the weekly saying, you know, basically, you know, there's a bullish setup. We already knew that, you know, but be cautious in the short term. There could be a continuation of this pullback.
The only thing I'll say, I want to make sure before we move on, the only thing I'll say about the weekly chart, to be careful with everybody as you're looking at it, because T-Stream's right. You're looking at some bearishness here. You're looking at some turnover. But on the weekly chart, there's not bearish divergence in play. A lot of times during bull markets, I'm not going to say every time because there's definitely outliers, but this is something I talked about. If you guys watch me on Coffee and Crypto, they used to call me Divergence Tim, right? I love divergences. Before I found Luxalgo, I pretty much traded solely based off of divergence, RSI divergence, MACD divergence. I loved it. But one thing that I found when I really studied these things highly is that it's rare for a major top to happen or even a local top, short-term top to happen without any form of bearish divergence. We're seeing that on the daily chart, which means minimal pullbacks. While the weekly chart's flashing, on all these charts we're looking at, it's flashing overextended. It's not flashing divergence. And what happens with divergence is you form one first peak, and then, let me show you real quick. Let's show on the screen here an example of AVAX on the weekly chart. Let me show you when AVAX had a major pullback on the weekly chart, right? Notice here, in December of 2023, we peaked out around $48, right? Had a small pullback, took a couple of weeks, nothing major, rallied again. And we came up here and closed the candle up at 59, so a higher high. But look at the oscillators, right? If you look at the Luxago oscillator, we made it all the way up to 99 in December, but we only made it on that second rally to 85. Of the RSI, we made it up to 87. The second time, we only made it to 76. This is bearish divergence. We got the bearish divergence. What would AVAX do? AVAX would plummet. Again, not to new lows, but it would plummet, if I can grab the tool correctly here. 73%, right? We do not have that on the weekly chart at the moment. These oscillators are not showing. They're showing us that we might take a small week or two long pullback or something like that, but they're not giving us major bearish divergence. So I'm not necessarily worried about anything. If you're sitting here saying, oh no, the weekly chart looks like it wants to correct, are we going to get another 70% pullback? No. I think we could see 20. I think we see 30. But I don't think anything major, nothing long-term. It'll be very quick. You're going to want to buy that dip, and then you're going to go back to the upside and not have a major correction for a very, very long time. So that's what I'm watching right now on the weekly chart. Everyone should know about. Also, these oscillators are just not crazy high either. They can get a lot higher. Like, the RSI only peaked at 70. RSIs can run in the 90s during heavy bull markets easily. So we might not even be anywhere close to a bearish divergence on the weekly chart for multiple months. So keep that in mind when you're doing your analysis. I saw the super chat here. I don't know if this is 05 or 05, but 05 Brumfield said, will ADA retest 80 cents to 85 cent range? Good question. Here's the thing. We have 1,400 people watching right now. Shout out to you guys. Probably one of the larger views for live shows we've had in a while. Love it. We have 494 likes. I asked for 600. I feel like now we should get to 700. What we're going to do, if you want me to answer that Cardano super chat and give you the ADA technical analysis, we're going to do the factoid of the day with Smay. You guys get us up. Let's split the difference. 650. I'll take 650. And we'll do the Cardano analysis after the factoid of the day, and we'll call it a day on our show. T-Shroom's got a Q&A coming right after when we're done. It's not going to be right at 4 p.m., but for all of our trading members, go ask T-Shroom some questions after the show is over. But, Smay, let's go ahead and get up here. Let's do our factoid. I know you got a good one for us today. And then if we get those 650 likes, we're going to do some Cardano TA and wrap it up.
Well, Tim, I just want to first of all say I'm quite frankly disappointed in all of you guys for not liking the stream. There's a lot of you guys that just come in and you take, and you don't give. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and leave a like for us, because we're doing some great, well, I say we, but it's mostly them doing some great work for you.
But here's one of your important roles. I didn't know if I told you this in the interview process. T-Shroom and I are nice guys. We're the reason why people aren't smashing a like is because we just always ask them nicely. Smay's a mean guy. He's our enforcer. Smay's going to get on to you if you're not smashing the like. So
I mean,
be wary of the Smay.
We can have a moment here. Smash a like. All right. We can go ahead and move on to our factoid. I keep wanting to say question of the day. It's factoid of the day.
It's factoid of the day.
But I'm getting there. Me and the elf, he's right over here. We've been talking. And so I brewed something up for you. Here we go. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Drum roll, please. Here it is.
He's grabbing. The elf now brings pictures, T-Shroom.
He brings pictures. Now,
earn his paycheck.
This guy, the Russell Wilson, in the picture here. We love him. He has nothing to do with this. He's not one of the options. But in my heart, he does have the most passing yards in my heart, but not in actuality. So what are you guys thinking here? What are you guys thinking?
Well, you didn't even read us the question. How do you know we can read?
Sorry. Yeah, I know reading's hard.
Yeah.
Which quarterback holds the record for the most passing yards in a single NFL season? A, Thomas Brady. B, Peyton Manning. C, Drew Brees. And D, Patrick Mahomes.
T-Shroom, I know the answer to this question, so I'm going to let you kind of fumigate on it.
Now,
yeah.
before you answer, I will have to say I did have to fix this question because I had this generated by Grok AI. We love Grok AI, except for the fact that it gave me the wrong answer. It gave me the question with the wrong answer, and I looked it up, and so I had to fix it.
Okay.
So. Interesting.
Well, all right.
If you say that what I say is wrong, I'm going to challenge you, but I don't know if we're going to get this right or not.
You'll lose your timeout.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to go with D, Patrick Mahomes, just because I think that he's a really good quarterback, and he passes a lot, doesn't he? I think he's known for passing quite a bit.
I think that's what all quarterbacks are known for.
Not all of them, actually. Not all quarterbacks are known for passing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it comes with the position.
Here's the thing.
But anyway.
I'm delaying a little bit because we got 7 more likes until we get to 650. Tom Brady has the most all-time passing yards. He also has the all-time most playing. Nobody's ever going to match his playing time. Drew Brees, I believe, I could be wrong on this, has the highest completion percentage record. The dude was accurate. But he does not have the most passing yards. Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if Patrick Mahomes has any records, but he's also semi-young. Peyton Manning's claim to fame is he still has the single season highest passing record. Tom Brady was close. Drew Brees did very well. I don't think Patrick Mahomes has gotten anywhere close to passing these guys. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, unfortunately, they all played in the same era, but they are the 3 best quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL. And unfortunately, everyone always talks about Tom Brady. But Peyton Manning, if Tom Brady didn't exist, would be the best of all time. And if Peyton Manning didn't exist, Drew Brees would be the best of all time. The answer is B. The answer is B, Peyton Manning.
The answer is B, Peyton Manning, he says. So I'll tell you first and foremost what Grok said. And I want you to tell me what you think.
What did Grok say?
Grok said that it was Drew Brees.
Grok is very wrong.
Grok
very wrong.
is
very
Grok
wrong.
is wrong, except for the fact that he is actually number 2. He is number 2. And number 1 in 2013 with a passing yards of over 5,000 something. I don't know. I didn't remember the number. It is Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning B.
Peyton
Manning. Tim, that's another one. You can notch that on your belt.
I'm going to put that
There
in my
you
belt.
go.
And that's 1 win for a giveaway.
That's another win. And T-Shroom, I expect better from you. All right? I expect better from you. If you would have said Drew Brees, I would have given it to you because, that was Grok's answer. I would say you and Grok, you are 1. But that is wrong. So smash like for Tim. And
I've got to say, it hurts. It hurts to be on the losing side of the factoid. This is the first time. This is my first factoid. Guessing.
Yeah.
I am usually the arbiter.
You're 0 right now. True. It's not a good place to be.
And, I'm going to come back stronger.
All right. Well, guess what? Good news is we are 1 for 1 on getting these factoids right, which means you guys are 2 factoids away from getting another giveaway. Speaking of T-Shroom, did anyone reach out to you about the giveaways from last week? We had 2 winners on Friday.
I believe so. I
right,
haven't really logged in super in depth to Discord quite yet to answer those, but I will.
Well, while we were doing the factoid of the day, things were falling. And we're going to take a look at Cardano here in a second, which is down, testing $1. And the super chat question was, can we test 85 to 80 cents? Really quickly, though, before we do that, Bitcoin down below 96, losing support levels. Remember, we talked about it earlier in the show. I told you, I thought that we were going to start losing some of this stuff. 95 is still going to be a spot to keep an eye on. There's some liquidations around 95, 93, 93.7 is going to be interesting too. But if we lose that, I think it's a pretty good shot. We're dropping 90 and dropping here more significantly. What are some other big moves? ETH falling down, is going below 37. Sol has fallen back towards 216. We didn't do a lot of TA on that one today. Chainlink making some moves down towards those levels we talked about. Some very interesting levels. In fact, I think the 2-daily smart show is going to be something to keep an eye on. 18, I might want to even adjust my Chainlink stuff into talking about, hey, keep an eye on 18. Let's move this box. Okay, let's keep an eye on this zone right in here. But let's look at Cardano that just lost $1. Just lost $1. Where's our 2-daily smart trail? Again, we're getting the sell signals coming in here on this 2-daily chart. That person asked 85 to 80 cents. I'll do you one better. It could go from 85. It could come to 85. It could come down to 75. Let's do our due diligence here. Let's take a look at other indicators. MACD is about to cross bearish. RSI was overextended. It's pulling back dramatically. We had that bearish divergence. We had the reversals, bearish momentum. The money flow is not technically flowing negative, but it is on the daily, which is getting a sell signal for sure. Daily smart trail, it's testing at the moment. Don't be surprised to see a small bounce on Cardano, but there's a decent chance it wants to continue. I'm going to keep an eye on that 2-daily smart trail is what I'm watching right now. Fair value gaps right in this camp. Technically, there's a fixed range volume, or not fixed range volume. There's a big breaker block all the way down and a major order block in that down at 66. That to me is a little too rich for this part of the cycle. That would be a pullback of, I'm going to get the exact number, 50%. It's not impossible. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'll tell you this: if Cardano hits 66 cents, it will get bought up so freaking fast. I think this range here between, low is 75 to 85 is kind of the more realistic target right there. Let's look for kicks and giggles though at liquidations. Yep, big liquidation level here on the 2 daily chart here at 80 cents. Let's go to the daily and the 4 hour and see if it cleans up that nicely as well. Daily says 67 on the table. Again, there's a 66, 66 cent level there, but let's go 4 hour and this will be my kind of defining factor here. Yeah, I like these moves, more recent moves down here. I mean, we might hit it here in the last couple seconds of the show. We're making dramatic moves here down to 90 cents. Things are collapsing. People are selling off. Really quickly, before we go, Shroom, can you take a quick look at the news? Did something just break that I'm unaware of? Did something just come out?
Solana down to 206.
Yeah.
I might have to pick some of that up here in just a few minutes.
Uh-huh.
I am not seeing any news quite yet. I will keep scanning.
Yeah. This is something just burst, right? There's a reason why people are capitulating like crazy right now. Fed seals 2-year Senate. Nope, that's not going to be it. A crypto tax conviction. I'm not seeing any news, but it also could have literally just happened. And people are still writing on it. Does anyone in chat know? Dumping too quickly not to rip into them. The cleanse says XRP armor. The cleanse.
I am seeing disease related headline, but I think we'll analyze that one offline, and if it becomes a developing story, we will cover it. But I'm not seeing anything that should be interpreted as the markets is very bearish. I think this is just the time for what we've been predicting to happening, right? And it is a Monday. Mondays sometimes can fake out the rest of the week, right? And kind of reset prices, reset oscillators, so that the markets can come back and take advantage of the lower prices. So we shall see.
Yeah, take a look here at this chart. I'm not saying this is anything necessarily to worry about. Bitcoin dominance shot up while we were live here.
I saw that too.
Yeah, that's very temporary. A lot of times these types of sell-offs are just amazing opportunities about to present themselves to buy back in. In fact, if you look at things are bouncing a little nicely right now, on even like the 1 hour chart. We're getting some wicks coming in. High volume coming in with these sells, which means there was conviction on these sell signals, right? But as those wicks become pretty gnarly to the downside, it becomes something to kind of understand, like, hey, people are going to buy this dip up. But that being said, again, altcoins kind of quickly got to levels we identified in the show, which is interesting for sure. Bitcoin would still have a ways to go to hit some of the levels I thought that it really should. But it's going to be something to keep an eye on. Keep an eye on the Bitcoin dominance chart, everybody. Again, I started the show by saying I'm pretty sure alt season is here. I think alt season's here. But one of my reasons was because of how far down this Bitcoin dominance chart was. If this bounces, I told you 58 was my level. We almost got there. If we get back above 58% dominance, maybe we're a little too early. Maybe this was an alt season fake out, which is great. I would love to be wrong that this is alt season and this is an alt season fake out, because that means if we pump this much on the alt season fake out, imagine how much we're going to pump during the true alt season. But again, we're very far away from setting a new high on Bitcoin dominance. We rejection on that 58% level. So this is going to be something to continue to monitor for your Q&A. I'll have Q&A tonight at 7 p.m. For about 30 minutes, and then we will have an X space tonight as well. You don't want to miss any of those. But with that said, we're going to wrap up today's show. We're going to end on a good note here. A lot of good stuff happening. Thank you so much for being in here, everybody. Holy crap. We just shot up to like 1,700 people.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin crashing.
Do we? Yeah. I don't know. There's a whole lot more to talk about here, guys. Well, if you guys are just joining us, Bitcoin crypto prices are falling.
So here's what I would say. If you're looking to get exposure here, what I'm looking at is buying more MSTR ETFs. So if you go to my screen, you'll see this is MicroStrategies. So MicroStrategies had a blow off top here, got up to about 40% higher from the live price that we are at now. I like to buy the leveraged ETFs of these. Now, take in mind that you're not supposed to hold the leverage ETFs for very long, like maybe a month max. But what you want to do is get in and get out, right? So this is not a bad time to try to get exposure to MicroStrategies, because it was the bee's knees the last couple of weeks. And now, for a reason that doesn't seem super clear to us here at the Investing Bros quite yet, the market is turning over. What is clear is that the charts have been predicting this for a while, and we've been bringing it to you all's attention that the charts have been overbought. However, when it comes to fundamentals, it's not clear that there's a story here quite yet that's leading to this sell-off. So I'm looking at the MSTR leveraged ETFs. If you don't have any MicroStrategies at all, they bought more Bitcoin today. Their strategy is not changing. But Solana, I think Solana at these prices too is a little bit tantalizing.
Yeah. Well, I see here, even someone asked in chat, can we stay like another 20 minutes? We'll stay for a little bit. I don't know if we're staying for a whole another 20 minutes.
Oh, I missed it. Solana's back up to 220 now.
Yeah. There's a tweet, Watch.Guru put this out. I knew this was going to be something to happen. There's a tweet that just put out by Watch.Guru that said, and this was 35 minutes ago, so it got worse, right? If we're probably sitting, I would imagine that we've had more than this. It says 35 minutes ago, $122 million were liquidated from cryptocurrency markets in the past 60 minutes. I would not be surprised if what we just saw happen in the last 15 minutes what puts us at the level of being like $500 million of liquidations. And we showed you guys, we were going through this. Someone asked to look at the Caspa chart. Caspa, after getting up here to 18 cents, it took a nice little fall here to 16. But we were showing you the cascade. Like, let's look at Bitcoin, for example. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's look at liquidations charts from the bros. We just had a bunch of liquidations, and I told you there could be a snowball type of effect. And with this one, this was more like taking a look like a 10-minute chart. Nice little bullish candle right there. Anyone in our VIP trading group, we learned about this. This is a bullish hammer. But yeah, we look at the liquidations we just took out during that live show. Millions and millions and millions. We took out this massive $24 million one, although that's building again. So people are longing this. And the reason I don't know if it's going to stop, people are already longing this, and there's already another $24 million of liquidations back here at 94.6, right? So short-term bullish, maybe come up, claim some of these liquidations. Some volatile movements here. But I want to see if there's some major story. We're going to continue to look at the headlines to see if something pops open. But I really do think that this is not necessarily like a black swan or something crazy. I think this is just people are in on the sideline. They're not buying right now. And you got to trigger on a short, and you started to liquidate some long positions. And then things just kind of got out of control, and things were falling here pretty dramatically. But short term, I think they're going to bounce back up. I mean, look at this. Link fell down here to 19, back up over 21. Cardano was down. Did it get below 90 cents? Got to 91 cents. It's back up over $1. We're getting these short-term bounces, but look at how already we're stacking up the long liquidation levels. I'd be very hesitant right now, ladies and gentlemen, to be saying, oh, this is going to be, that was the bottom move right there. I think that was an initial burst. I think there's a chance this rolls again. Again, we did a lot of analysis. If you guys are missing out on the show, we talked about Bitcoin. Let's go to a longer time frame here. Let's turn off liquidations. We talked about a lot of reasons why Bitcoin is showing some signs. It really still wants to test the $85,000 to $80,000 range. A lot of liquidity down there. We have sell signals popping up here on these longer time frames. And then we have this smart trail kind of coming in here, still hovering in this box. This is the 2-daily chart here. A lot of reasons that zone 85K is still a very interesting spot to keep an eye on. We looked at Chainlink, and we said, hey, not going to be crazy for Chainlink to come down here towards 18, maybe even as low as $16. We're talking about Cardano. It was one of those super chats. We talked about Cardano really could come down to 85 to 75 cents range. XRP, we talked about, hey, really, we could make a move down here towards 190, 172. A lot of liquidity, a lot of support in that zone. It's actually above where the 2-daily smart trail is, but the 2-daily smart trail is still climbing up towards there. But yeah, we did a lot of analysis. Let's see, we did AVAX. AVAX, we said, hey, keep an eye on just below $40 to maybe $37 on AVAX. And so, I mean, these were things I was anticipating. Just so you guys know, I was anticipating these to be hit like a week from now. Like I was anticipating, a longer term move. Some of these we almost hit while we were live. We did it very, very quickly. But this is one of those moves that's I think it's gonna be a form of a bull trap here. I mean, seeing the heavy liquidity pile back up on these shorter time frames, T-Shroom, this to me, a lot of times there's a sentence in trading. Oh, we're not doing it on AVAX, right? That's good. There's a sentence in trading that says where you candlestick, you will, where there's a candlestick, you'll candle. What is it?
Where there's a wick, you'll candlestick.
Yeah, where there's a wick, you'll candlestick. Meaning, a lot of times these nasty moves can have a double bottom where you go back down there again. So I'm gonna stay a little posted here. Let's answer some chat here for a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
we'll go out again. We almost had 2,000 people in here live. A lot of you guys asking the same question we are, and that is what the heck just happened. And I wish we had the right answer for you. And there's a chance that something news-wise came out that we just haven't found yet. But I believe this is simply one of those situations where we were overextended. We caught a liquidity level. We caught a liquidation level. It started a snowball effect, and we're clearing things out right now. Goodbye area on Sui, asked JE. Let's look at Sui real quick. Let's see what's gone on in the world of Sui here recently. Where's my Sui chart? There it is. Sui. I'm going to analyze this the same I analyze other things. So that's lower levels liquidity. Yeah, you can just see already. Yeah, we still have a lot of liquidity. Even going through the liquidity, we didn't take out a lot of it because it bounced back up so fast. So that's very interesting. Let's look out here. These longer time frames. Bearishness for sure. Daily chart. Got bearish divergence, bearish momentum, bearish RSI, got a clear sell signal with the bearish divergence, red reversal, bearish momentum, bearish money flow. That oscillator is very ugly looking right now if you're a bull. The daily chart would suggest a move down here back towards 290, right? But again, right now I'm kind of watching the 2 daily chart as my zone to keep an eye on. We're about to get a bearish cross on the 2 daily. Got a sell signal coming in here. Red reversal, bearish momentum, bearish divergence. Did we hit another higher? Yeah, it hasn't printed yet, but that's another, just because this candle hasn't finished, that's another bearish divergence call right there. Yeah, that one's kind of saying it's kind of agreeing, 290. I think Sui really wants to pull back to 290. Let's look at some liquidation levels and see if there's anything. Yeah, yep. Some $3 ones right here. Let's go to the daily chart. Let's see if there's anything. Well, it's not quite at 290. There's some here at 263, but let me go back to the 4 hour and zoom out here a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it comes to $3 with the support at 290. There's a big gap here. Again, heavy liquidity at $3. Then the next spot is 245. I'm not saying it's impossible to fall all the way to 240. I'm a bigger fan of this 290 space. And with all the liquidity right there, you don't have to stop right at the liquidations. You can fall easily through it. And there's a lot of support daily, weekly. There's a lot of stuff happening here around 290. This is kind of back just where we were a couple of days ago and in November. So Sui, I would say you might want to front run it. I'm also I'm not the guy who picks a spot in the chart. Like I look at 290 and say, okay, I think the chart's going to go to 290. I'm going to buy at $3. Right? That's just who I am if I'm buying long term. If I'm trading, I wait for the actual bounce, right? Let's say I put a line. Let's say I was waiting for 290 and I think it's going to happen. I'm not going to enter a long position at 290, right? I'm going to wait. This is for our traders out there. I'm going to wait for the price action to bounce and give me some confirmation to the upside. But right now, a lot of liquidations. We definitely have some here on the 320 mark, but on these lower time frames, still showing a lot of liquidity and liquidations down here towards $3. I think that this wants to clear it out. I think this bounce back is a little bit of a let's take a breather. Let's let people recollect themselves. Again, a lot of the larger ones are already even taking up more long positions, and they're already creating more liquidations, even in what we just created. So I wish this is over. My portfolio is definitely going to be down with all these things dipping. It's not the end of the bull market, but it's definitely down. But I'm not going to be surprised if that wasn't the end of this little pullback whatsoever. Mitch Jasper says, so much for alt season. Let's check back in. Bitcoin dominance. Oh, okay. Bitcoin dominance is falling back again. Oh, that's crazy liquidations there. Those don't matter. Big wick, big nasty wick. But remember, I said earlier in the show, 58. I would need to see a close of candles above 58 to get worried. We're pulling back here. Everything's kind of balancing back out. We'll see how these things drop. I will say this. If you guys are thinking all these things, I'm saying we're going to go down to these levels again. If you're thinking we're going to do it tonight, not necessarily. This could take a couple of days. We had our flash crash. We just had our big pullback on these charts, right? Nasty wicks. Now you're going to start seeing, instead of it being very fast, you're going to see like a small trickle. You might go up a little bit more, and then you're just going to see a small trickle, and it'll work its way down to these levels. I'm not anticipating or expecting tonight to crash these levels. I think that we got our fast movement. Now it's about slowly massaging it in and letting the markets do what it want to do. And it's going to take a while. It's going to take a couple days. Surviving makes a good point. Asia could get interesting. Asia definitely could get interesting. We got a long time till the Asian trading hours. I mean, we're definitely still well within American trading hours, although we're 10 minutes away from the close of American trading, right? T-shirt for like traditional traders, TradFi?
Nope, it's been closed for 20 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, it closes at 4? I thought it closed at 4:30.
4. Starts at 9:30. Yeah, but it's it's a little bit confusing here, right? Now, Tim, there is a headline here that posted about 40 minutes ago. This could potentially be the reason why we're seeing a pullback right now. Smay, if you go to my screen, Google makes quantum computing breakthrough with new chip capable of solving computational problems under 5 minutes that would otherwise take leading supercomputers 10 to the 25 years. Okay, so that, there could be some people out there who are like, hey, I don't like this. I'm selling all of my Bitcoin and some other cryptocurrencies. But the reality is just because Google has made a chip, first of all, claimed that they've made a chip that can do quantum, computing, doesn't mean that it's in the hands of people who would want to do something nefarious with it, right? It's just reached. It's in an R&D contained lab within Google. Now, the other thing too is that if that does get into the wrong hands, Bitcoin price is probably going to be the last thing that we're going to be worried about. But that could be potentially what the big scary news is. But look, this is how the markets work. Tim and I, for the last week, we've been analyzing the price chart, right? We've been telling you all, hey, it looks like Bitcoins should be priced a bit lower here. We've had this big euphoric price exploration to the upside. It's been great. We've seen our portfolios swell, and that's been awesome, right? But what goes up has to come back down and test lower, right? And we're not at that inauguration yet, January 20th date. We're not at the time where Donald Trump, with his lips and his pen, makes the Bitcoin that the U.S. holds actually a reserve currency. That has not happened yet. But the markets are repricing Bitcoin in anticipation for that event. But we are not there yet. In fact, we are several weeks from that. So you have to assume that in that time, Bitcoin will continue to be repriced to the upside, but it is going to be a bumpy ride with a lot of volatility. And we're going to continue to see headlines like Google makes a quantum, chip, or escalations or tensions escalate in some foreign conflict. That is going to be the catalyst for an overbought Bitcoin to correct, or an overbought Solana, or overbought S&P 500 to correct to the downside. That doesn't mean that the next week it doesn't climb back up, because what we know about these markets is that they always climb a wall of worry.
Just in on my screen here, Smay. I told you guys I thought it'd be over 500 million. I wasn't strong enough. 813 million liquidated cryptocurrency market in the last 60 minutes, posted 9 minutes ago, and we've been bouncing since then. So that number is done there, at least for now. So that going nuts right now. You can go up my screen. Let's look at some chat here. Clark Benson, bro, this Luxago indicator is too dope. Wish I had been looking at this 4 months ago. Dang. Hey, guess what? You got it now. And in 4 months from now, you're going to say, I'm so glad I found that Luxago indicator 4 months ago. Zachary Hammond said, Tim, I really hope we just see some consolidation for the next few months. I need to DCA some more. I got some bad news for you there, Zachary. That's not going to happen, right? Because a lot of you guys are looking at like this chart, right? Go to my screen here, Smay. A lot of you guys are looking at like Link or Bitcoin or whatever. Let's go to Bitcoin just for the sake of it. You're looking at like the 15-minute chart. You're saying, oh, look at this consolidation. We haven't set a higher high in what seems like forever, even though it was just a couple of days ago. The chart you should be watching is this chart. And this is the weekly chart, right? So we had our big consolidation back here. But this chart not a lot of consolidation. Why? Because during this portion of the bull market, let's go back over here. We are somewhere. Ugly circle right there. I'm going to redraw that. That was hideous.
Come on, Tim.
That's better. We are somewhere in here. My guess is we're somewhere in this range, right? That's my guess. I think we're going to go a lot higher than this, by the way. Don't pay attention to this move here. I'm just saying we're in this explosive movement where, yeah, we might have a week or two in a row that are bearish, but that's going to be about it. So months, I don't think we're going to have months of consolidation. If we have months of consolidation, here's what I would say. If we've been trading sideways for months and months and months and months and months, like let's just say 3 months. 3 months of sideways, no new high for 3 months. I'm not saying for sure I would, but I would consider taking some profit then. Okay.
What you got to remember, and I agree with you, Tim. I don't think we're going to see a month of sideways consolidation. I think we could see consolidation through January, and we don't get back
a couple more weeks. Yeah,
and we don't test above 104. But the thing is it's not like the election this time around. The election was the polls were saying 50-50, the betting markets were saying something different, but it wasn't certain. Now it's a all but certainty that Donald Trump will get into the Oval Office and start doing things that he said he was going to do. And some of those things are going to be painful, and some of those things are going to be euphoric. There's going to be winners and losers economically, right? But it looks like people who have been holding Bitcoin are going to disproportionately benefit. And people who've been investing in altcoins are also going to benefit because regulatory clarity is going to be brought into the market for the United States. But that's a different event. It's a much more granular, much more many shades of gray, and it's going to be over a year period of time if Trump makes due on his promises to the crypto industry. We haven't seen any indication that he won't, right? And that's why the market is month over month, week over week, adding to the value of these cryptocurrencies because they're undervalued, right? They were properly valued for the Biden administration and his approach to regulating crypto through Gary Gensler and everything like that. But now cryptocurrencies are undervalued compared to what the Donald Trump administration, and not to mention other countries around the world that are thawing towards their regulation towards Bitcoin. But it's a different phenomenon, right? So again, just to beat the dead horse here, the phenomenon with the election, that is behind us. That was a 50-50. It could have gone either way. So the market had this huge consolidation from basically March to the end of September, I believe it was. And then you just see a huge spike up that we're kind of in now. But this consolidation that we're in right now in the early days of December is different, right? It's a period of consolidation before, it's just a matter of time before Donald Trump comes out and says something either very bullish towards Bitcoin or starts to make it look like he's walking some things back. So far, we haven't seen much from Donald Trump himself as to whether or not the Treasury is going to be inhabited by Bitcoin, right? So the market then assumes that what Donald Trump has said in the past is still what we're going to expect in the future. Price go up. But teach room, price is going down. Well, because as it goes up, it does have to come down and find support before it can go higher.
As we continue to try to find if there's anything that sparked this sell-off, I found two interesting articles. One of them I think is not correlated whatsoever, but the other one is possibly involved. So the first one, let's look at this on my screen here. This is News Now, one of the places I look at news. Within the last 10 minutes, Russian lawmaker proposes national Bitcoin reserve. That's bullish. That's not what caused this dump, right? I think if you go to popular stories here, sell it all. Peter Schiff urges Biden to ditch U.S. Bitcoin reserves before Trump's return. All right. I've kind of always been impartial about Peter Schiff. I just thought he was, whatever. I just ignored him. Now I will officially say, and I don't say this to a lot of people, Peter Schiff needs to shut up. Peter Schiff needs to go find a hole somewhere and just camp out for a little while. If Biden, not that Biden would listen to him, not that people would listen to Peter Schiff. I don't think he's that powerful. But if Biden's administration did kind of do one of those like FU movements and say, I know Trump's going to come in here and try to hold it all. We're going to sell it all right before. That would be a black swan event. That would be very rough. I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's a lot of people already think that Biden's the worst president of all time. But if he did that, We're going to move on. Latest. This is the story, though, I think potentially could have some approach here. Justin Sun dumps $119 million Ethereum as price soars past 4K. What's happening? The article, I was reading through it. Ultimately, Justin Sun hasn't commented on this yet. But someone asked earlier, how have we gotten through this whole chat without talking about the composite man? Good point. Why have we not talked about the composite man? Talking about composite man, Justin Sun, if you don't know who he is, if you've not been following his stories, he is a guy who does fishy things at fishy times and has a form of manipulation. I don't want people running for the hills, but Justin Sun dumping 119 million Ethereum is interesting to me. And I can't really decipher yet. I have to camp out on this and kind of think through and hear some more things. I can't decide if this is, I mean, it's not great news for Ethereum, right? You don't dump it and buy it back up. But why is he dumping the charts on purpose? Did he do that knowing that people watch what he does? Composite man theory is you crash the charts, getting people very, very bearish. He's going to trust the fact that most people don't know his history, don't know what he does, just so he can buy the dips. He knows that it's public. He knows his wallets are tracked. He knows that people are going to look at him selling $119 million of Ethereum and say, uh-oh, what's happening here? He knows all this, right? Did he do it just so it would dip so he could buy it up? I wouldn't put it past Justin Sun to be that type of. When I say wouldn't put it past him, he has done things like that before. Justin Sun is a classic manipulator or composite man person. He has the wealth to be considered one of the people in the composite man theory.
Tim, that's good. I honestly think that's probably the smoking gun here is a big whale selling a major cryptocurrency. That would be Ethereum here. That looks like it is to me. We've got almost 2,000 people watching live. I've got to go because I actually have some maintenance that's going to be done on this property. So I've got to go and let them in and make that happen. Nice. So we gotta wrap it up. Yeah.
Well, I think. Smay, are you good? I mean, I'm not gonna stay for that much longer, but just kind of going through some of this stuff, I think it's very interesting. We'll wrap it up though. We'll wrap the show. This, by the way, guys, we never run this long. This is because literally everything started dumping as we were going. Smay, T-shirt, you're good to go. I'll wrap it up here in a second, but you're good to go. Go talk to your guy. Good to have you on here today. Craziness unfolded as we were closing out the show. And what's crazy is even though I saw the price action, it was as we were wrapping up, I looked down at a concurrent and we were almost at 2,000 concurrent. And I was like, okay, people want to know what's happening. If you're still here watching, Zachary Hammond said, Tim, if you guys see this message, I just want to thank you guys for being a part of this reason. I'm better educated on investing in crypto. Thank you so much for that, Zachary Hammond. I'm very glad to hear that. I want to leave you guys with a couple thoughts. We looked at a lot of charts here. I think that this Justin Sun thing is very fishy. This could be the big reason for the dip. I still bring this into a camp of saying if you guys were watching the show before the crash, people in chat who have been here the whole time, were we bullish or bearish earlier in the show? I mean, we're bullish long-term, but did we not spend the entire show saying, hey, this coin's overextended, needs to pull back. This coin's overextended, needs to pull back. We, throughout the show, go back and watch, we put several targets and levels that we should look for. We haven't hit them all, but we're seeing some things happen that suggest that the markets are overextended. This was probably inevitable to happen. And it is one of those things when we talk about the composite man. Someone asked, why have we mentioned composite man? Composite man theory, if you guys don't know about it, it's the theory that you have to treat whales and institutions like big manipulators who will always try to get the best buying price for themselves, but they'll try to discourage everybody else. And so what they'll do is they'll tell you to buy and then they'll sell. And then they'll tell you to sell and then they'll buy. And they'll create situations for massive rallies that you miss out on. So then you FOMO in and then all of a sudden everything tops out. Or vice versa, what they'll do is they'll do these moves where they crash the price. Like they have the volume. They have the money to crash the price. Justin Sun, $113 million of Ethereum, that's nothing to him. That's nothing to him. He can make that happen very quickly. He can crash the price, and then he gets to buy the dip, but you're so busy freaking out that you capitulate and sell off. Then all of a sudden, we're bouncing back. We're rallying up, right? Well, bull traps can happen. Now they got you in a very volatile, very vulnerable spot where a lot of you bought the top again, and then as soon as you think everything's going back up, it starts to crash. Then you capitulate again. This is why we told you earlier. We said, listen, do we think price is going to go to the downside? Yes. But should you sell? No. What you should be doing is looking for places to deploy more dry powder. But this is a bull market. And even this flash crash that just happened, Nothing that suggests a bear market's happening. This is a bull market. You want to hold on. It's a bucking bronco right now. I get it. It's a bull. I mean, even the bull market, but it's a raging bull riding and holding on as we're doing all these things. Continue to hold on. You can do it. I believe in you. We're very far from the top of this bull market. These are the types of chaos that shake out the weak, and only the strong survive. I'm hoping you guys are some of the strong. That's going to wrap it up here, guys. Again, over 2,000 people come in here late. I think we got to like 500 over on X. Smash the like on your way out. Hit subscribe, please, so you don't miss any of our content. We do the best we can to help you guys stay up to date in all of the markets. If you want to become a member, if you want to further your education, check out the different membership options down below where the chat never, ever stops. But with that said, guys, love all of you. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Adios.